Good evening, everyone. Waiting here for a couple people, see if we have anybody else that wants to jump on really quick before we get things underway. Real quick, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Larissa Hahn, and I am a Plexus Gold Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, obviously. I'm an independent ambassador, and this is my research. So I have a little disclaimer. I guess we can just throw that up there. Sorry. This is my second podcast, so this is the second time I've done this, and so there is still sort of that learning curve. Plus, tonight's information, you guys, I have to say, is pretty personal. So I'm a little bit nervous, although really excited to share my story with you guys and the research that I have discovered as I've walked through and worked through this process. I don't know this, I don't know what the right word to call it is, but dilemma, maybe? So let me share my screen with you really quick, okay? And give you my brief disclaimer. Plexus does not claim to cure, treat, prevent, or diagnose any disease or disorder. Today you will hear testimonials and experiences from independent Plexus ambassadors. Actually just one ambassador, me, and research done by an independent Plexus ambassador, not a doctor or a scientist, okay? I am not a doctor or a scientist. I am not medically trained. I failed high school biology. But I am a researcher. I do like to get information. I used to hate school. I now love school and learning, and I think it's really important to constantly be absorbing new information. This information is in no way intended to bypass medical advice. We recommend consulting with your physician before starting any new products or supplements so you can make an informed decision about how to handle your health. So let's talk about sex. this is such a huge thing. This is an innate human desire and need. God designed us for sex. God wanted us to have sex. I am a Christian, so just in case you didn't know, this is a natural thing for us to experience with our partner. And when we have trouble enjoying what God wanted us to enjoy in the way, especially in the way that he wanted us to enjoy it, we run into trouble across the board. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. But tonight, we are specifically going to be discussing diminished libido, hormonal imbalances, and erectile dysfunction. So I'm just going to jump right in here and share my story with you guys. So you may see my face a little bit, but mostly I think this is going to be slides and presentation tonight. This was me in August of 2009. This is my adorable cousin Danielle, and I was taking her to a concert. We were going to go see, I can't remember his name now, but he was one of the American Idol winners, and she really liked him, and she was visiting from out of town, and I wanted to take her to this concert. So we went, but not before this picture was taken. And I hang on to this picture because this was me at my heaviest. I was about 280 pounds. And gaining. I didn't see any end in sight. This was a very low point for me. I still, you know, I don't know, I tried to be cute, you know, and I was a big girl. Big girls are cute. Big girls can be cute. I feel like I was a cute big girl, but I was very unhappy and completely dissatisfied in my own body, and I felt very desperate and decided to go for a gastric sleeve surgery. I got, you know, good feedback. I got bad feedback from people, their opinions, and all that. But at the end of the day, it was my decision, and I decided to go through with it. So fast forward to July of 2010. In actually the same month, sorry, jumping back here, this same month I met the man that I would marry, and he loved me just the way that I was, and I appreciated that, and I loved him for it. But he did support me when I decided that I wanted to go forward with surgery, and he was a Marine at that time, and ended up being deployed to Southeast Asia for a tour of duty. And when he came back, it was July 2010. He had proposed to me while we were separated and Skyping, and we did our engagement photos, and I, at this point, was down 110 pounds. And I felt happy as far as my external appearance, but what I knew immediately upon my surgery, or coming home from having had my surgery, that was in October, was that I could not have an orgasm anymore. I could not enjoy or really experience sex the way that I had previously. So even though I was a big girl, I was still, like, it didn't disrupt my libido. I was very, I was always a very sexual person, and I enjoyed it. And then when we got married, I felt so bad because I just couldn't enjoy sex the way that I used to. And this was the man of my dreams, and I loved him, and I still love him. But at that time, after we got married, it was just, it wasn't the way that it had been in my past experiences. And so it had nothing to do with him, even though when you're dealing with, let me go ahead and stop sharing so that we can have a face-to-face conversation here. But when you're dealing with that type of a situation in your relationship, you can't help but think it must be me, or there must be something about me that isn't appealing to her. And I'm sure if you guys are watching and have experienced low sex drive or a lack of interest in sex drive, typically it's I mean, if you're having emotional issues in your relationship, that's a whole other story, and I don't know that I can help you tonight. But if you are in a loving relationship with a long-term partner, it can really take a toll on your relationship. And if you're married, definitely take a toll on your marriage. And so we were newlyweds, and I was excited to be with him. I wanted that. I still remembered what that was, but I just couldn't get to that place anymore. The way that I describe it is my lady parts died, and I didn't know why. And so going back to my presentation here, sorry, this is a little bit different, sorry. Okay, screen share again. Okay, so going back here, I ended up, we got married, we had 2 babies, so we were having sex. It wasn't like I wasn't being a good wife to him in that way. I just didn't really get much out of it, but I got my babies, and I also gained back 80 of the 110 pounds that I had lost in about 5 years. So December 2015, my husband and I, we were starting this new business. You can see we're wearing these t-shirts, this Kiddos 101. This is our business. We have a brick and mortar, and we still are operating it and loving it, and it's exciting. These are terrible pictures of me and my family, but you can see how big I had ballooned back up. I'm not saying you should or should not have your gastric sleeve surgery if you are debating it. I'm just saying this is what happened to me. I gained it back in 5 years, and I truly believe it was because I was not healthy, even though my body had forced itself to lose 110 pounds. I think there was still toxins stored up in my fat deposits, and I don't know that I ever understood gut health. And I ended up having my gallbladder removed in 2011 due to rapid weight loss. And then I had to have a hysterectomy in 2015 because I was littered with fibroids. And to me, it seemed as though even though I lost weight and maybe my gut health was affecting my inability to lose weight, once I forced my body to lose weight, it started attacking other areas of my body. That's kind of a whole other story, and we will jump right back into the whole libido situation. But just one more. I mean, I was so sick here, you guys. I was bloated and inflamed. And then I found plexus, and less than a year later, it looks like I lost like 100 pounds, but I really only lost 40 pounds. I have a neck again. You can see, I feel like I look like a completely different person. So going back to this person, yes, healthy from the outside, but on the inside, no, I had no interest in sex. And this concerned me, and it upset me. And so I started doing some research. And a couple of things that I discovered. So these are all threads, and I'm going to share these threads with you in the comments. And any other articles that I have that are being referenced during here, I will share those articles. Additionally, it's a little bit tricky here, you guys, because I can't really look at the YouTube screen. I have a Google Hangout screen for this and a YouTube screen for this, and then my presentation. But on this YouTube channel, you guys can see there's a live chat option here. So you guys can say something like, hey, how's it going? Right? And it's going to post it up here. So if you guys have any questions at all, please ask your questions in this live chat so that I can address them. So going back to the presentation, all of these links that I found were forums in let me see if I can go here, in these weight loss gastric sleeve support forums that were asking the same question. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. Like, there's other people that are suffering the same way. So I'm going to be brave and broach this topic. She was, very sexual. She says she loved food and sex equally. And very sadly, since surgery, I don't have any sex drive to speak of. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so, I mean, it goes on. I'll share those links so you guys can see, but all 4 of these are threads to people. And within those threads, there's multiple people. Some say no, some say yes, especially in this, the obesity help forum, because gastric sleeve is for gastric sleeve people. And not everybody who gets the gastric sleeve has this side effect, but it is a possibility. And so I wanted to share, I spoke with one of my friends who had bypass, and she's like, no, that didn't happen. So within these threads, someone had suggested that a hormone called ghrelin was in our stomach, and when our stomach was removed, the ghrelin went with it. And ghrelin is attached to your hunger, but it's also attached to sex. And so if you look here at these graphics, the bypass leaves the stomach inside the body. You see here they stitch it up, the original stomach, you're left with this little pouch, and then the intestine stays and somehow is rerouted here, and then this gets bypassed over there. Anyhow, I don't know the science of it. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. But what I know is I got the sleeve, and they give you more of like a tube for a stomach, and then the rest of this gets stitched up and removed from your body. It just gets chucked. Biohazard waste, I guess. And it's thrown out of your body. And so what I know is anytime I have had a surgery where my body, like something is removed from my body, I always miss it. Something always changes. They want to tell you you're not, you don't need it. Technically, no, to live, I suppose you don't need it, but to function normally, in my experience between the gallbladder, between the stomach, and between the hysterectomy, my body has always gone a little bit wacky afterward. So anyhow, recently, I started learning about the human microbiome, and I started wondering if it wasn't just ghrelin that was missing, or if it was even a ghrelin issue, or if it was maybe missing bacteria. And we will talk more about bacteria and its role in our bodies. So leaky gut. I found this article called "Can Leaky Gut Affect Your Sex Drive?" So leaky gut is another way of sort of self-diagnosing that you have yeast overgrowth, or that your microbiome is in what they call dysbiosis. So you have more bad gut bacteria than you do good bacteria. I'm sorry, not gut bacteria. Bacteria in your entire body. Our bodies are covered and littered with bacteria, some of which resides in our gut, a large amount actually, and as well as in our stomach. That's all part of the gut. So intestine, stomach, esophagus, all of that stuff is considered gut. So what caught my attention was number 3. Leaky gut can create hormonal imbalances such as PMS or PCOS, right? But if ghrelin was a hormone and suddenly my gut issues are affecting my hormonal issues, I couldn't get away from the fact that the ghrelin and the gut changes and the dysbiosis that took place when my stomach was removed from my body were directly related to each other. So I'm jumping here. Do you have this bacteria? Hormones and the Microbiome, 2015. Another article I will share with you guys from Flow Living. Your microbiome is a main player in regulating your hormones. So now I'm missing a hormone of ghrelin, and my microbiome is thrown off, making it probably worse. A poorly functioning microbiome leads to every hormonal imbalance, symptom, or sickness you can think of, including infertility, PMS, low libido, cramps, heavy bleeding, and PCOS, etc. And can also make you more susceptible to cancers like breast cancer. So I started looking about ghrelin, and is this hormone actually linked to sex drive? And show that when mice receive a supplement of ghrelin, they increase their sexual activity and their efforts to find a partner. So if ghrelin, in a lack of ghrelin and that hormone, is a result of this surgery, that could certainly be why I'm not feeling any kind of interest or desire for sex, and combine that with a microbiome that is in dysbiosis, it's a double whammy for me, and it just messed things up real good. So I came back to this. Basically, yeah, my microbiome is playing a major role in regulating my hormones and is leading to my low libido. So that was the conclusion that I came to. Now, that being said, guys, this can also your microbiome can be thrown and your hormones can be thrown for a number of other reasons, including hysterectomy and removing of the ovaries, cancer. You know, if you're going through chemotherapy, that is designed to kill off every kind of bacteria in your body, antibiotics, age and going into menopause, when you're losing estrogen in your body. All of those things can lead to a microbiome that is in dysbiosis. So I'm going to stop sharing here really quick. Stop. Oops. No, not stop broadcast. Stop sharing. Okay, there we go. So I started taking recently something called Vital Biome. It's Plexus's newest product. In fact, hang on one second. Sitting back here. And it is a super duper probiotic, okay? So I started taking Vital Biome at the beginning of June. And about 4 days later, I noticed a difference for me when it came time for my husband to initiate, because I don't initiate, right? I have no desire for sex. And in the middle of it, or not in the middle of it, like right in the beginning, you know, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And, you know, we're getting into it. And I really couldn't care less, like either way. I'm like, all right. But then all of a sudden, it was like something changed. And I noticed after a couple of minutes, I was like, wait a minute, my body feels different. It didn't feel dead anymore. Okay, my lady parts no longer felt dead. And I was like, am I crazy? Is this for real? Like, is this really making a difference? I started using this. The only new things I introduced was that Vital Biome, and also this X Factor Plus, which also has a relationship and correlation here, but we'll get into that later. Okay, so jumping back into, let me screen share again. Thanks for your patience, guys. Okay, so jumping back into it. So I told my friend, okay, I told my friend Janelle, and I said, Janelle, I think this Vital Biome is making a difference for me. And so she ended up doing this post because she also sells Plexus, and this was based on my testimony to her. She said, when your friend says her sex drive and experience has absolutely taken a 180 since taking some new products, you think, dang, Gina, I know a lot of wifeys and hubbies that would appreciate getting their hands on that. We really are the health and happiness company. And it is true, you guys. I mean, you have a good sex life and stress goes down, your marriage gets a little bit better, you like your husband or you like your wife a little bit more, or both, right? It goes both ways because the two have become one, and it affects both of you guys. So what really surprised me, so obviously I loved the comment, but what surprised me were the comments that came after she made this post. Someone, and I blocked everybody's names because I didn't get permission from them to post their comments. So I've heard this exact same thing from several people. I'm like, several, okay? OMG, it's true. We love the new Slim. Praying for babies of my own soon. I hope to look as good as she is. Janelle is pregnant. She just actually had her baby not too long ago. I just posted about this last night in a small group chat. Let's just say Andrew is loving these new products. Oops, sorry. Then somebody else said, yeah, I'm trying not to let this man get me pregnant, but that area is on fire again since Plexus. Thank you. You're welcome. And then final sort of comment was, yes to that. My husband will second that. So I don't know if the husbands are taking the Vital Biome or the wives are taking the Vital. I don't know who's doing what here, but something seems to be happening with these new products in the sex department. And then this one I came across today that kind of got my wheels turning. Is it possible that Vital Biome, that somebody posted this was not like one of my customers, can help in the sex department? Please tell me others have said this and I'm not completely crazy. I mean, OMG, I may actually tolerate my husband now, LOL. So I thought she was talking about her and her sex drive, because that's the place that I'm coming from. And then, you know, somebody, whoever it is, responds, and then she says, okay, because I mean, I even feel like the body part of him has changed, or I feel like I am cheating on him, but holy moly, seriously, okay, so how many of these can I give him? And if it is helping with this too, I'm in, sign me up on your team, looking better, feeling better, and feeling better. Yeah, sign me up, LOL. So then I started thinking, because it never even occurred to me about guys. It really didn't. So I wanted to do some research on the male component of this. And so I started researching erectile dysfunction and the causes. So there's many factors that can lead to erectile dysfunction, both physical and mental, but these are some of the common issues, okay? Most of these are all, like, they're all kind of physical. What I have seen with doctors, and this isn't knocking Western medicine, this is, I mean, facts are facts, this is how they're trained. They aren't necessarily trained to find the cause. They are primarily trained to treat the symptoms. And that's why we get so many prescription medications, right, to help alleviate the symptoms. But usually there's something deeper at the root. And the deeper part is gut health, you guys. It really is. It's the bacteria levels in our body. And as I look at this list, so many of these things are linked to poor gut health, period. But what I did see was low testosterone levels. That stood out for me. So I researched it a little bit more. WebMD wrote an article called Erectile Dysfunction, Testosterone Replacement Therapy. So again, why is the testosterone low? That's the question. But they don't ask that question. They just talk about, well, how can we replace it? It's low, so how can we replace it, right? Erectile dysfunction, what they did say is it is possible to be caused by low testosterone, but it's pretty uncommon. It's not the primary cause, but it can be. But that was the only thing that I saw on that list that was hormonal. And so that's why I jumped to the hormone thing, because I believe our microbiome is directly related to our hormonal balances and imbalances. So then what I saw, I found another article called 8 Things You Didn't Think Could Be the Cause of Erectile Dysfunction. Now, this was written in 2017. This is modern research. And I say modern, the other articles were written in like 2014, I think was the oldest one I found. But regardless, 2017, I mean, technology moves so fast. So this was 2017. Medication was #1. Porn overdose, okay? Oh my gosh, you guys, we don't even want to talk about that. Sexual performance anxiety, pelvic floor issues, yada, yada, all the way down to #8, gastrointestinal problems. Gut health can also have an effect on erectile dysfunction. And this study in 2015 specifically linked the gut health symptom to irritable bowel syndrome. Now that is actually how I got introduced to Plexus. It wasn't even about me losing weight. I just wanted the poops to stop, man. I was crazy with the poops, and I was pooping all the time. I mean, come on now. I was bloated and sick, and I crapped 8 times a day. All right, let's just call a spade a spade. There have been so many benefits for me taking Plexus. I was so sick. I mean, yeah, that's a bloated, sick, inflamed person. So anyhow, gut health, guys. So again, I'm going to share, I have all these articles down here, but what I did here was I Googled heart disease and gut health. Okay, I'm not a master researcher. I am an ambassador with a search engine. I Google everything. Diabetes and gut health. If diabetes is linked to erectile dysfunction, what's causing the diabetes? Do you follow? What's causing the high blood pressure? What's causing the high cholesterol? What's causing the low testosterone? What is causing it? Gut health. 100%, I believe the primary cause is just bad gut health, okay? So what if this could change everything? What if you didn't have to have bad gut health anymore? What if you actually desired your partner? What if when your partner initiated sex, you didn't pull away or cringe? What if this bonded you guys again? So we're going to go over a few things tonight. Plexus is big on health, okay? B-I-G, blood sugar, inflammation, gut health. That is what Plexus is designed to do, is to address those issues that affect all of us: blood sugar, inflammation, and gut health. You want to jump up here to diabetes? I mean, you guys, we are sick as a country, we are so sick. The statistics on diabetes alone are staggering. All of these other ailments, we don't even need to get into them. About 50% of my friends, after I crunched the numbers, it was just shy of 50%, about 48%, and this could be applied to all people, about 48% of this country either has diabetes or is pre-diabetic. Now, the vast majority of pre-diabetics don't even know that they're pre-diabetic, but they are. And if they're not dealing with their blood sugar issues, they're going to go into full-blown diabetes. Most of us, I mean, honestly, everyone deals with blood sugar issues. I mean, this is why Starbucks has a line wrapped around the corner, because everyone's having their afternoon crash. If you crash in the afternoon, or even 11 a.m., I've heard people crashing at 11 a.m., I need candy, I need a rock star, I need an energy drink, I need, you know, some kind of sugar, I need my coffee, I need my caffeine, whatever it is. More than likely, it's because your blood sugar is dysregulated and you're crashing because it's out of whack. And then there's inflammation, okay? Inflammation is a good thing. Inflammation is something that our body is designed for to heal, okay? If you get a little cut on your finger, it gets red, it gets tender, that's inflammation. Those are the white blood cells going to the injury area, the area of injury, and repairing the damage. But when your whole entire body is inflamed, it's like the house is on fire. You want a warm, cozy little fire to cuddle up next to. It's nice, it's good, but you don't want your whole house to catch on fire. And when that happens, your body actually believes that it's sicker than it actually is, and it can create things like malignant tumors. It can create heart attacks. People thought, the doctors used to think it was related to plaque buildup in your heart. It's not. It can be, I mean, that can be one part of it, but it's actually very closely linked to inflammation, and as well as early onset Alzheimer's. And there's an article in here that I will also post from Time Magazine in a PDF form. I'm going to put this as a reminder, Time article, because it's just one that I know. And then gut health. And that's really the whole thing. All the blood sugar inflammation stuff, you guys, gut health is number one. It blankets everything. So I'm gonna play this video for you guys really quick. It's a little 3-minute video by ASAP Science. This is not produced by Plexus. There's no, you know, Plexus isn't trying to sell you something here. This is ASAP Science talking about the human microbiome and its role in our health. Okay, so here we go. Oops, oops, oops. Oh, hang on one second, because I gotta close this. Darn it. So many little details and nuances for all of this. Okay, but here we go.
Your body is made up of many things, like this cell, an integral building block of what makes you, well, you. Except that for every single cell in your body, there are roughly 10 more microscopic organisms that are essential to your life. Seriously, there's a unique collage of 100 trillion microorganisms living on and in you right now, which you've picked up through your mouth, ears, and other access points throughout your life, meaning what you consider you is only a tiny fraction of the things that truly make you up. We call this the microbiome, and these little critters contain around 22 million genes of their own DNA, which not only allow them to survive, but control hundreds of processes in your body. They help digest your food, they keep your immune system healthy, and they even regulate hunger and make you feel full. Feeling stressed? They produce chemicals for that too. In fact, mice raised in sterile environments which don't pick up these microorganisms are less effective at responding to stress stimuli than normal mice. Ever heard of a poop transplant? It's a real thing. Some diseases are actually caused by a microbiome which lacks diversity, making the individual susceptible to infections. And it's been found that transplanting the cultures from a healthy person's poo to a sick person's gut can treat these diseases more effectively than any antibiotics. Scientists have even found that when obese mice are transplanted with the microbiome of lean mice, they astonishingly lose weight much more effectively, even when their diet is kept the same. These organisms are so significant and so much a part of you that in the future, doctors may actually diagnose your microbiome instead of you. But here's the crazy part. Even though your own cells represent a small proportion of you, you can actually change the other 90%. Unlike the genetics passed down from your parents, everything you eat actually affects the microbiome. Foods which contain pre- and probiotics, for example, introduce new and healthy bacteria which can help the old ones thrive. On the other hand, those chicken nuggets you're eating or other processed foods are treated with chemicals to kill bad bacteria, which has the unfortunate side effect of killing some of your good bacteria too. In fact, the Western world has much less diversity in their microbiomes than other cultures who eat primarily whole foods. This is because of a diet higher in processed food, along with the use of antibacterial soap and antibiotics. It may also explain why there are much higher incidences of allergies and autoimmune diseases in Western cultures. So, while you may be having an existential crisis over who or what you really are, just remember that you are in control of this superorganism of cells. And if you treat your microscopic life partners well with a good diet, they'll take care of you. Or at least the 10% of you that's actually you.
Okay, so we don't have to go there, special things. So I'm going to kind of review some of the things that they said. There's human cell to microbe ratio is 1 to 10, right? So 10% of our cells are ours, and 90% are basically parasites that affect how we feel on a daily basis. There's 100 trillion microorganisms, and we pick them up in many, many ways. Starting with birth, you guys, starting with childbirth. This is why there's such a push for vaginal birth over cesarean, because if you have to do cesarean or that's what happened, there's no judgment here, but facts are facts. Vaginal deliveries are going to create a stronger microbiome for your child. But that is assuming that you have a good microbiome, because otherwise you're passing on your bad microbiome to your children as well. So it's kind of like a catch-22. 22 million genes, and I do, going back to that really quick, think that can, I mean, this is my own personal theory, but impact childhood obesity and all of that. I mean, you guys, we're really making our kids so sick. It's pretty sad. I'm learning so much about diet, but again, I'm going to try to stay on topic here. So 22 million genes control hundreds of human processes, help digest food, keep immune system healthy, regulates hunger and fullness, stress and anxiety. And that's why we're kind of talking about Plexus, the health and happiness company, because these products can also help reduce stress and anxiety, and we'll get into that. I want you guys to be feeling really reassured. You do not have to have a fecal transplant to get a good microbiome, okay? It's not as hard as all that, and I'm sure you don't want someone else's feces transferred into your body. I'm just assuming here, but I think it's kind of a safe bet. So the product that I've been talking about is the Vital Biome. And that is a very important product with regard to building and rebuilding, rather, our microbiome, okay? It replenishes good bacteria, it rebalances the gut microbiome, it inhibits growth of bad bacteria, and is clinically proven to help reduce stress and anxiety. I would not be able to say that if it wasn't true. Plexus did a clinical study on these products, on this particular product, and it was proven within 30 days to help reduce stress and anxiety. But I'm telling you, it's more than that. I don't think it's limited to reducing stress and anxiety. But we're going to talk about something more than just a single product, okay? And I don't want you guys to get lost on like one magic product, because I don't think any of these are magic products, okay? One of the articles that I shared with you guys that I found is they're making these suggestions. 1, remove the bad, okay? 2, replace the bad with the good. Add back the essential ingredients for proper digestion, absorption, such as digestive enzymes, which we're going to talk about, hydrochloric acid and bile acids, reinoculate, and basically restore your beneficial bacteria, and then repair the damage. Now, Plexus puts it in different terms, way easier to understand, okay? This is about weed, seed, feed, and protect. So we're going to weed out the bad stuff. We're going to plant new seeds to get the good stuff. We're going to feed the good stuff, and then we're going to protect our garden. So think about this in terms of a garden and how you maintain a healthy garden, okay? Your microbiome is your garden. So weeding. Number 1, you're going to want to change your diet, and I'll talk more to that a little bit later. But you want to change your diet. And then you want to incorporate ProBio5 and BioCleanse. So ProBio5, we're going to weed out all of that bad gut bacteria with the ProBio5. They wanted digestive enzymes. The ProBio5 has digestive enzymes. It has a digestive enzyme blend. And the beautiful part is they're giving you 5 probiotics in this probiotic. And that's great, and that's a great place to start. But the problem with probiotics is that they not only feed good gut bacteria, they also feed bad gut bacteria. And if you have an overgrowth of yeast, if you have, candida, if you have candida overgrowth, you're going to be sick. And if you feed it a probiotic that isn't an antifungal or can kill it, you're just going to be feeding it with this food, with the probiotics. I hope that makes sense. So the ProBio5 has digestive enzymes, right? This last article that I shared with you said you want to take digestive enzymes to kill off the bad stuff. There is an ingredient, one of the enzymes specifically produces lactic acid. I'm going to take off this sharing, stop screen sharing. Okay. Okay, I'm pulling my products over here. So the ProBio5, this is the bottle that I have. On the back, there are 4 digestive enzymes in this blend, and I'm going to talk about chitosanase. Chitosanase is an enzyme that produces lactic acid. Now, why is this important? Because candida is wrapped in something called chitin. Now, you know what chitin is, you just don't know that you know what chitin is. In case, maybe you do, but I'm assuming that you don't. Chitin is what the exoskeleton of a cockroach is made out of, okay? Hard, crunchy, nothing can kill a cockroach, right? Right? Like, it takes a lot. It takes a strong will to kill a cockroach because they're protected. They have a little suit of armor, and so does candida. So candida does not die easily. Typically, the way that people have been able to get rid of candida is through diet. Strictly through diet, and it is a very difficult diet. I was dealing with that, and I couldn't pull it off. It was too strict, it was too rigid, and I couldn't do it for as long as I needed to do it. It was like 30 days of straight, like, just eat meat, don't eat any bread, don't eat any fruit. You can eat like meat and vegetables, maybe not all vegetables and not all meats. It was kind of a mess, and I was like, that's not happening. The poops are going to keep going because I can't commit to that kind of a diet for 30 days, not with 2 little kids and a husband. And so I just continued to suffer, as we tend to do. With health issues, I feel like we tend to say, well, I guess this is just the way that it is now. I have no libido. I guess that's just the way that it is now. And you kind of learn to accept it, but you don't have to. So anyhow, I started taking this ProBio5, and against my doctor's recommendation, my holistic doctor, because he was like, the probiotics are just going to feed the candida. You've got to starve it out. Well, a week after taking this, the poops stopped, which I was over the moon about, and I started researching, going, okay, if this wasn't supposed to work, why is it working? And I realized chitosanase, it produces lactic acid, and lactic acid can penetrate chitin. And this is the only probiotic that I know of that can do that. I took this to my holistic doctor, and he says, I've heard of one other probiotic that does that, but he couldn't remember what it was called. So I'm going with ProBio5 because I know it, it's here, and it's working for me, and it's working well. So anyhow, weed out the candida with your ProBio5, with your chitosanase. And then your BioCleanse. So we've got 2 products here for weeding. The BioCleanse, let's say this is like cleaning out the toilet. You get your scrubber, you scrub out the toilet. Where's all that sit? Get it out. This is BioCleanse. BioCleanse is a very gentle cleanse. It helps alkalinize the body, and it flushes you out. So you're not going to be on the crapper all day, but it is going to flush you out, and it might take some time for your body to get used to it. We always start out with 1 pill at a time for these because you don't want to take the max dosage that they recommend is up to 4 to 6. I would never start anybody out on 6, okay? But this is really great too if you deal with constipation. If you're not pooping at least once a day, and even like probably 2 to 3 times, you should poop 30 minutes after every meal. If you're not pooping regularly, you want some BioCleanse in your life, okay? So these 2 products are for weeding. Okay, let me share again. We'll go to the next one. Okay. So weed, ProBio 5, BioCleanse, and then seed. And that's where we get our vital biome. So the vital biome is not an antifungal. If you take the vital biome just by itself and you're not killing that candida, then your vital biome is going to feed the candida. Does that make sense? There's 8 probiotic strains, 20 billion CFUs. This is an amazing, amazing probiotic. It is freeze-dried. Let me go back. I'm going to show you here. It is a freeze-dried capsule. You take 1 a day on an empty stomach. I take mine at bedtime. I take my ProBio 5 with dinner to help digest. And then I take 1 of these at night. That's it. Easy. They're freeze-dried, but I do keep them in the freezer. They are better kept under 70 degrees or less, and it's like 75 in my house right now. So I'm like, well, I'll just keep you in the freezer. Inside is a moisture-wicking liner, so no moisture should get in there. And it's a really great product. It has changed my game. Okay, so weed, seed. And now we're going to talk about feed. So this is the Plexus Slim. Now this is a great standalone product. You can just take the Plexus Slim and, you know, you're going to get some results. But more in the weight loss department, possibly increased energy, but not necessarily the whole libido thing. But let me say, I strongly recommend using these products, specifically these 3 products. Sorry, let me move this. These 3 products, the ones that I just talked to you about, the BioCleanse, the ProBio 5, and the Slim. This is an incredible place to start, you guys. They are synergistically designed. All of Plexus products are. They work better together. And it's a great jumping off point because I want to be very clear about something. Plexus is not something that's going to work overnight. And this is about long-term health. And so if you want to be like, oh, well, I want to jump and get the vital biome today because I want to have good sex tonight. God bless you. I want you to have good sex tonight, but understand it's a process. Your drive didn't diminish necessarily overnight unless, you know, you had something removed from your body that made it remove overnight. But typically it's been a process, as is any health issue. It's usually a process. It's usually something that's been going on for some time. So I want you to think about getting healthy in the same way that you got sick, okay, over time. So this is not about magic. This is about consistency. Okay. So the beautiful thing about the Slim specifically is that it was recently reformulated, okay? The same benefits exist. This is about getting your inflammation down, and this is about balancing those blood sugars. So we're talking about blood sugar and inflammation. This is your product for those 2 things. When they reformulated it, they added a prebiotic, okay? Plexus has gotten really smart about the whole microbiome. You want to feed your probiotics. So it's not just about taking your ProBio 5 or taking your vital biome. It's about feeding the probiotics that you're putting in your body. And so there's a prebiotic in there. This prebiotic also increases another bacteria, which are not in our probiotics. This is something that exists in your body already. It's called Akkermansia. It increases it by 250%, and Akkermansia is directly related to your ability to lose weight. And it is clinically proven. These products are clinically proven. Again, they did an independent study. This was not a Plexus doctor saying, hey, here's what's happening. They went out to an outside company and they did an independent clinical trial proven to help with weight loss, and these were the results that they got from those. So Slim by itself, people went down 5.4 pounds versus the placebo, and with the triplex, I mean, this is just staggering. It went down 7.2 pounds compared to 0.2 at the placebo. One of my ambassadors recently used the triplex, and she lost about 30 pounds in just over 60 days, 25 pounds actually in 2 months she lost. And she didn't have a whole lot to lose in the first place. It wasn't like she was a big girl trying to get down. She was a pretty small girl just trying to get back to being healthy. And in fact, she qualify. She qualified as a finalist for a Plexus contest that they were doing, and she ended up getting $250 of free Plexus products and a $1,000 shopping spree. So anyhow, the triplex is a great place to start, like I said. And once you've done the weeding and the seeding and the feeding, you're going to want to protect your garden. And this is where the X Factor Plus comes in. I showed you guys, those were the two products that I was saying were working together, that those were the two new products that I had integrated when I noticed an increase in my libido and ability to enjoy sex again. And the X Factor Plus is a complete multivitamin. It has aloe in it. Now, for those of you who don't know, aloe helps with absorption. And so you're going to absorb your nutrients, your minerals, and your vitamins up to 300 times or 300% better. So you can take a Centrum or something cheap from Costco, and then you're going to pee gold. And I'm sure if you guys have ever taken multivitamins, you've noticed, why am I peeing gold? Well, you're peeing gold because your body isn't absorbing the vitamins. So you're literally like flushing your money down the toilet. When you have the aloe component with the multivitamin, your body better absorbs the vitamins. It reduces harmful compounds. It has polyphenols, which are energy sustainers. And I'll tell you what, I have noticed a bigger jump in my increased or like sustained energy, I guess, long-term, like into the night kind of energy, by taking the X Factor Plus. And then it helps reduce symptoms of perimenopause. So if we're talking about hormones and hormonal imbalances with all of this stuff, it has a direct connection to helping with the hormonal changes that happen in perimenopause. So including hot flashes and also perimenopausal rages, which I believe I have been suffering from with yelling at my kids. I'm not a big yeller mom. I'm usually pretty loving, and I was screaming at them to the point that they were crying and I was hoarse and I couldn't control it. And I'm going to be 40, but I did have a hysterectomy, even though I still have my ovaries. I really believe this has helped, and it has helped. I don't scream at my kids anymore. They still drive me crazy, but I'm not screaming at them like a maniac. And so this is how you want to protect your garden. So those are the 5 products that I strongly recommend using. I'm not necessarily saying jump into all 5 at the same time. So that's at your discretion, but 5 products can feel really overwhelming. Even 3 can feel really overwhelming. A couple of reminders. Consistency is key, you guys. I've been taking these products for over a year now. I feel like I laid a really good foundation for my body to respond to the X Factor Plus and Vital Biome because I was consistently taking the triplex for over a year. You can't outplexus your fork, okay? This is one of our master nutritionists who's also a Plexus ambassador, Ame Darling, and she said that, and I just loved that. I carry that with me because it is about eating well. And in that video that I shared with you guys, there was, you know, they talked about how our processed diet, McNuggets or chicken nuggets from fast food, any fast food, you guys, our country is addicted. We just flock to the fast food. And oh my gosh, I've been watching these documentaries, and the way that these animals are kept, it is not healthy. It is not sanitary. And we are eating the byproducts of disease-ridden animals, and they pump them full of hormones so that they're not disease-ridden, rather hormones and antibiotics. And then those, because we're eating it and ingesting it, those antibiotics are killing off our microbiome. And we want a really diverse microbiome in addition to having good bacteria. We want a lot of variety in our bacteria. And then, as I already said, this is a long-term process. This is about changing your lifestyle, diet and exercise. Let me just jump back here. Diet and exercise is key. You cannot get healthy by just taking Plexus. And anyone who tells you they have something that you just have to take a magic something, they're lying to you. They're selling you something. And this is a combination of changing your diet and incorporating exercise. I'm not saying you have to go to the gym 7 times a week for an hour. Take a walk around the block. Just start increasing your healthy habits. And you will see results, guarantee. But it does take effort. It is its own discipline, remembering to take my supplements and, you know, all that stuff. So you have to be ready for it. And then last thing here. how to order. So to order, you guys contact your ambassador, whoever sent you here to this blog. Sorry, this paper fell off the wall. Whoever sent you here tonight, contact that person and order from them, okay? I am not trying to steal anybody's clients at all. I am simply here trying to inform people, you know, we're one plexus. So if this helps a fellow ambassador, then that's great. And if it helps you who are potentially a new client, then that's even better. If you don't have an ambassador, you just happen to find this on accident or however, or maybe, you know, you saw me on Facebook and you followed my link, please feel free to email me, larissamhahn@gmail.com, and I would love to go over what products might work best for you. I would never say anything is a blanket. Everybody has different needs, and so, you know, I would love to go over what your needs are and then make recommendations from there. Additionally, I am on Facebook. I'm just going to pull up my profile really quick for you guys. I am on Facebook. My handle is Larissa M. Diaz, because that is my maiden name, and I had this before I was married. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram under Wifey Han. So find me if you guys want to learn more. And so just leaving you with the question again, what if this could change everything, you guys? And it's worth taking a chance. Plexus does offer a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it for a couple of months and see, you know, if you like it and if you want to continue. And if you don't, they'll give you your money back. So what's the harm in trying something new? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I just want to say thank you again so much for sticking with me. This is about an hour's worth of information, not even. 53 minutes. Come on, you can do 53 minutes. And thank you. I hope this was informative and helpful. I'm going to jump over to my YouTube just to see if you guys asked any questions. And if not, then I'm going to let you guys go. Okay, give me 1 second here. We are here. And informative. Oops, there we go. Angie, oh, I noticed how mellow and relaxed I have been since I started taking prebiotics as well as my probiotics. Well, that's wonderful. Okay, good. All right, you guys. Well, then, I guess if there are no questions, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. It was fun, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.